Good morning, everybody. This is John from Reset. Welcome to Coffee Convos. Today is an exciting day because we have artiste extraordinaire, Heather Gorton, with us. Yay, everybody give her a big round of applause.
Hello.
You like that? Artiste extraordinaire. Have you ever been introduced that way?
No, I'll take it though.
Okay.
I'll take the title. How are you
Good.
doing this morning?
Now, I know you're a coffee drinker. How many cups have you had this morning?
So I'm on my second cup, and then after we do this interview, I'm gonna come into your shop because I still need to get breakfast and I need to get my iced mocha. So that's my next stop after this for sure.
Well, very good. Are you impressed with the ice mocha as I am?
Yeah, I love it. Now I get 4 shots in my iced mocha, so I get 4 shots. I drink regular milk, but yeah, it's delicious. I love it.
I
Yeah, you
love it
guys do a
too.
really good job.
Oh, good. Thanks, Heather. Now,
Yeah.
I'm excited because I'll just say right from the top that you did all of our evening art at Reset,
Yeah.
which is super fun. We can talk about that in a little bit, but that we have other connections throughout the last few years, but it's fun that you're on here because I think it's good for people to see the face of the very cool evening art at Reset.
Right.
So thanks for being here. Now, the name of your business, your entity, I don't know, is Poison Dreams Creations.
Poison Dream Creations. So it's kind of like every artist kind of has a street name, or not every artist, but some artists. For me, for instance, a lot of my friends have street artist names, and I always like the name Poison because I kind of identified with the character Poison Ivy from the comics,
Okay.
and so I took that and I kind of went with it, and then I thought, well, what's a good, what's a good title to add on to that? And I just went with the poison and then dream and then creations, and kind of I started writing it on all of my paintings and people started catching on, and then I was like, okay, well, it's set. That's what I'm going to go with. That'll be my like kind of alter ego artist name, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. That's super cool. That's so street of you.
I know. I try. Yeah, so if you see it on any murals, you'll see Poison Dream Creations. That's me.
Okay. Well,
Same,
good.
same person, hopefully.
Good. And I think we're going to be seeing that name more and more. It seems like you're really starting to be in high demand more and more.
Yeah, yeah. There's been pluses with the the pandemic that's been happening, shelter in place. So I haven't normally. I also work at a restaurant, and because I haven't been able to work at the restaurant up until recently, thank God. Um, I've been doing more artwork. That was kind of something I got more into to kind of take up my time during this whole thing. And I had people they were just seeing stuff that I was doing, and they've been reaching out, and I'm very thankful to have that support. Definitely.
That's good. Well, I love your art. I'm an artist of sorts. I mean, we all have our different, art thing. I do abstract art, but I've got the question sometimes. When did you decide to be an artist? And that's a fair question, but you don't really like wake up one day and say, aha, I think I'll be an artist. You are an artist, and
Right.
you do your thing, right? So, uh, how maybe a question for you would be, at what point did you start referring to yourself as an artist? Because sometimes that's an aha moment.
Right. So you can ask my mom, she'll tell you, I've been creative ever since I was a little kid. I've always been that kid that had their head in the clouds. I was the kid that the teachers were like, okay, we need to have you go get checked because clearly you're not paying attention. I've always been really creatively minded. And so it started when I was really young, and I started just drawing in my bedroom, doing anything I can, entering coloring contests, stuff like that. And as I got older, I got into high school and I got more into wanting to get into art. I took art classes in high school, and it wasn't really until my art teacher in high school started like pointing at me and using me as an example in class, where
Mhm.
literally it was embarrassing. He would bring me up in front of everyone and be like, this is how Heather's doing the art, and he'd show everyone how you're doing it. And I would get really embarrassed at the time. I kind of didn't want, that I didn't want to be known for that. And but that's when I realized then in high school that, okay, maybe this is something that I'm kind of good at. Maybe
Mm.
this is like a path that I should follow. And yeah, and then when I got older, I had a few different career paths that I've taken. um, I went to school for interior design, and I got a degree in interior design, which is an art degree. It's a little bit different from the art that I do,
Yeah.
but I think that kind of led me to where I am as well, as far as marketing and business and understanding those aspects of what I'm doing now with my art.
Hmm. I love that. Isn't it interesting how teachers can really shape us as kids? Like they just somebody believes in us and says, you're really good at this, and you believe them, and it can change the course of your life.
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like kids in class would always come up to me and they would always say, "Oh, you're really good at art," or they draw this for me. I used to get that all the time. And yeah, it wasn't until my teacher in high school was like, "Hey, you're really good," and he even like would secretly enter my artwork. We'd have like art festival days and at my high school, and he would secretly enter my art without telling me. And he did it one time, and I ended up getting like, I think it was first place, and there was different categories of art at that time, and I got first place. And I ended up showing up, and he was there, and he's like, "Don't be mad." And he's like, "But I entered your art in," and I was kind of embarrassed. I was like, "Okay, whatever." The next week, he's like, "Oh, this is yours." He handed me a first place blue ribbon that I think it was the Sacramento Arts Association were
Hmm.
the ones that they came through, and they were judging everyone's art. And so I was like, okay, this is cool. I'll start to take it in and appreciate that maybe there's something there that I can, go further with in life. And it's hard being an artist. It's a struggle. It's not easy.
Yeah, yeah, making a living at it, right? Like, is that what you're
Right.
referring to? Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And now I've seen you have this array of art on your website, and I see things posted on Facebook. You've done celebrity likenesses, sci-fi, some stuff maybe leans towards the macabre. You've done some like playfully sexy things. What is your favorite genre to work with, or do you have one?
My favorite is for some reason I tend to draw, like literally, faces. I like drawing faces for some reason, which is weird because that's to me the most challenging thing that I've tried to attempt.
Hmm.
Um, so and I like drawing real life, like celebrity faces or just real life people in general. I like a lot of like classic like horror, like Bride of Frankenstein. I like a lot of pop art, um, stuff like that. So everyone always asks what kind of artist I am, and the only term I can come up with is I'm well rounded. So I don't have a set genre that I like to stick to. I kind of like to try new things and see where that goes.
Yeah. Well, you did a wonderful job with our art at Reset, and we defined what we were doing down there as quasi-Victorian, a little bit of a steampunk edge, playful, and you nailed that stuff. What was your favorite piece to create at Reset?
Probably, I know that everyone likes the owl with the trees. My favorite to create was actually the Victorian uh, corset. Um, so that was kind of something that I don't know if you're a fan of the show Westworld. I'm a big fan of a show called Westworld.
Yes.
So that was kind of derived from that, and then your ideas that you gave me and wanted, I kind of took that, and so that's where I got the. So it's a basically people who haven't seen it, it's basically a corset on a mannequin. There's a top hat, and she's wearing gloves, but the gloves are actually kind of almost floating in air. Like there's no arms connected to the gloves, and then she's got the crow on one hand. There's the grapes, the wine glass. I kind of wanted to create that like Westworld, not so steampunk mystique kind of futuristic, inventive, if you will, is kind of like the idea that I was going with, on top of everything that you'd mentioned that you liked. So
Yeah. Well, you did a great job. It was fun to bring you a bunch of ideas, and then not we didn't tell you what to paint, what to create. We said these are all the
right,
elements we love, and it was fun to be able to trust you to surprise us. And it was such a joy for us to see when you would post something and say this is almost done, and I would go, oh, it's perfect. I love it. I love it.
right. I always, especially with commission art like that, where you kind of, I'm gonna, be completely honest. I love when people give me free range to do stuff. Um, and in all honesty, I think that's when I do my best art.
Mm,
I don't mind doing things that people have strict, like I really want this, I really want this color. Um, I respect that, but I've noticed for myself as an artist that the best work that I do is when I get that free range. Like, hey, you did just like you did. You were like, here are my ideas. This is what we're looking for, and you're like, go do your thing. And so I was like, sweet, let's do this. And then over time, like you were saying, showing you progress of here's how this one's turning out, and seeing your reaction um, helped a lot, because then I'm like, okay, he likes what I'm doing. I can continue doing this. And I usually get positive reactions from most people that I've done artwork for when they give me free range.
yeah.
Um, I haven't had a bad reaction yet, so that's good. So I'm trying to leave it on that streak, hopefully. And but yeah, I love the way the art turned out, and the stuff that you did is amazing too. I love the pieces that you did.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
It was cool. I think for day art and night art, they complement each other well, and
I think so.
that was
Yeah,
fun. That
I
was
think
fun.
so.
Now, the artist stereotype um, is somebody who sleeps late, uh, shrugs responsibility, somebody who's always a protester of everything, somebody who shows up late to everything. Uh, do you resonate with or react against those kinds of things? How does Heather respond to those stereotypical things?
So that's funny that you say that, because I think me 10 years ago was that person. Because, I looked up to a lot of artists that were like that just naturally. And so I think I got the sense, well, this is like you're saying, it's a stereotype. This is how the artists live. They stay up late. They have a few cocktails. They create. But honestly, I'm actually the opposite. I get up early. I try to stay pretty organized. I'm pretty clean. I have OCD with keeping things in order. And I'm very schedule oriented as far as if you give me a project to do. If you need it done at a certain time, I'm like, okay, I'll have it done for you at a certain time. If you don't, and you're like, just whenever take your time, make it look good, put whatever you want, then I'm like, okay, I'll respect that. But yeah, I've found that I've had more success when I treat doing art like an actual job.
Mm,
And I'm my own boss. So, I still have deadlines, I still have responsibilities, and I still have um, things that I need to meet for the clients that I'm doing the work for. And that seems to actually help me. And that's actually grown my art business, as opposed to all the other stereotypes that you mentioned.
yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's neat to hear. So we keep using the word art. Maybe we should try to define it a little bit from your perspective. I know art is mystery. It kind of defies this well-rounded definition, but how do you define art?
Any creatively minded individual, whether it be someone who paints or draws, whether it's someone who works on like hot rods cars,
Mhm.
whether it's someone who is a musician, a singer, whether it's someone who is a poet, a writer, people that like to write scripts. There's all different forms of art, really. I mean, interior design could be a form of art if you think about it. Even having a green thumb, people that like to plant, that's a form of art.
Sure.
So I mean, I look at it, any creatively minded individual is somewhat artistic in their own way.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
good. Do you have a goal that you want to accomplish with your art? I mean, obviously, you get paid for some of your art. Is it okay? Do you have to have a goal in mind, or simply just to create? Is that a goal in of itself, or how do you envision the future for your art?
So I like to try different things. I'm still doing the commission work. People will request, a sketch or a painting, and I'm still taking those in. And I also have my website where you can go on to my website, poisondreamcreate.com. And I have art that I've done that's for sale, and prints as well. I have prints of artwork that I've sold on there for sale. So that I would like to continue to do, of course. I started because I got a high demand from people saying that, you should get into tattooing. That would be, you would be good at it, and you should really look into it. And actually, my tattoo artist, Bill Henderson, who owns Folsom City Ink., him and his coworkers were joking. Well, I thought they were joking one day. He was doing ink on me, and they were like, "Why don't you go set up in the corner there and start drawing?" And I was like, "Oh, you guys are funny." And they were like, "No, we're serious. You should, you know, you'd be good at it. You should apprentice and like, start getting into it." And so I put it off because I'm like, everyone does tattooing. I'm not everyone. It takes a certain talent to do it, and it's a lot of hard work. Um, but with the pandemic and the time off that I've had, I thought, heck, why not just start? I started Googling, looking up information, how to use a tattoo gun, how do you start, what kind of needles do you use, what are the procedures, and I just started teaching myself on my own. And I ordered a machine that's supposed to be coming soon. So that's another art venture that I'm gonna start looking into, and yet continue the art that I've been doing, and just grow from there.
I
So,
I love that. That's fun. I hear that you practice on oranges. Is that true? Is that
um,
do people actually do that?
some people do. Now I've heard good and bad things about fruit. Um, I've also heard so I got some fake skin, which is basically it's latex. Um,
Yeah.
a girlfriend of mine on Facebook, she does the what's it, the eyebrow, um, oh, the micro eyebrow uh, thing. And so she had extra latex, and she
Okay.
heard that I was getting into tattooing, and she's like, "I got extra if you want some." And I was like, "Sure, how much do you want?" And she sent that over. So I have that. I've got some carbon paper ready to start making some designs on, and then I'm just gonna play around from there. But yeah, the fruit thing, I've heard mixed reviews about that. Most people say latex is the best to practice on, so I'm gonna try that out. And then if I have any other issues, I'll probably hit up my tattoo people and see what they have to say from there. They're the experts, so they'll be able
Yeah.
to give me the best advice.
Yeah, that's good. Do you feel like your art, in whatever form it is, helps people to reset in some way? Because I feel like art is somewhat of it's a communication tool. It's a signpost to something. So how do you think your art helps people reset, if it does?
Well, I hope it helps people reset. In some aspect. Most of my art, not all of it, but a lot of my art that I do is has a meaning behind it. Or for instance, a lot of people, they like to use their words to get across what they're trying to get across in life, or if they feel um, very passionate about something, they like to speak their mind. I do that with my artwork. So some of my art that isn't commissioned, most of my commission art that I do for people doesn't always have a special meaning behind it, but a lot of the freehand stuff that I do is usually something that I feel passionate about, um, or just, with everything that's been going on. I started doing pinup models with the quarantine, with the gas mask and all that. And because I had a lot of people that they were really into the pinup models, and they said, "Why don't you draw those?" And I said, "Okay," but I said, "I want to get creative." And the whole pandemic kind of had me feeling like, you know, I have a voice about this. What can I do with this time to kind of speak that voice? So a lot of my artwork in the last month has been coronavirus pandemic based, and that's
Hmm.
kind of my way of resetting, speaking to people without actually speaking.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. There's I forget who it was. I'll have to look this up. There's a quote from an old dancer. She was a ballet dancer, and somebody asked her, "What were you thinking? What were you trying to communicate when you danced that piece?" And she said, "If I could put it into words, I wouldn't have danced it."
Exactly, exactly.
So
Yep, everyone's got their own niche. Like hers was dancing to get her point across, mine is doing art. Some people is music.
yeah,
So
yeah. Now you have a few pieces around Folsom and Sacramento. What are some of those pieces that are readily available to see?
okay, well, I have I have a mural on the Folsom Eagles Lodge wall on Sutter Street. So if you go to the back part of the Eagles Lodge, or if you're coming down Sutter Street where the mansion is, and
Hmm.
you look down, you'll see the giant how was it, 8 foot by 8 foot Johnny Cash painting that I did. That's on their big cement wall there.
Okay.
Um, so I've got that. I've got the artwork in your shop that I've recently added. Um, the Folsom State Slickers Bar, which is on Sutter Street near Mike's Bikes.
Yep.
If you go into the ladies' room, it's completely decked out in pop art. I did the entire restroom in there. Michelle's really nice. She actually hit me up a week ago and wants me to like paint something else in the bar for her. So that was really nice of her. I feel like I missed, the
Yeah.
the Gaslight building. So if you on Sutter Street, if you go into the Gaslight building, um, and you go to the stairway, if you're going upstairs, there's a whole mural in the hall that I did there for the owner, which is all, it's kind of like a past and futuristic version of Sutter Street.
Mm.
There's actual cars that were in photos from like the 1940s that I basically put in the photo. and then I added one of Johnny Cash's cars.
Hmm.
The owner's truck is in there as well. Me and him kind of collaborated on what he wanted, and kind of that's how that came about. Um, what else do I? Oh, downtown. So downtown on 24th and J Street, I'm actually getting ready to repaint that mural. It's on the corner where the cantina is. Um, my friend Sean Berner did the wall with the cantina. It's real elaborate, and mine's like pretty much right on the corner next to it. So that got graffitied on. So now I
Yeah, that
have
got
free
vandalized.
range to do a whole new thing. So I'm getting ready to do that in a week. I was working on the stencils that I'm going to do for it. I was working on that yesterday. So yeah,
Good.
pretty excited about that. It's going to be hot, so um, I've I've done a few murals to know better that start in the morning as early as possible.
Yeah.
I've been out in that 106-degree weather in my past, and yeah, it's not fun.
No, it's
So,
not fun. Not fun. Have you ever created a piece that you throw away after?
oh, all the time, all the
Yeah,
time. Or I do the
good.
what's the thing that this always cracks me up. So I saw the movie The Da Vinci Code, and the thing that and this is, I guess, in real life, there's paintings that they found from these historical artists where they'll notice that there's painting underneath the original painting,
Yes.
and people go, oh, is that a secret code? And me being an artist, from my experience, it's no, they just probably didn't want to waste the canvas, so they painted over it. And struggling artists, what are they going to do? Go out and buy more canvases, especially back then. They probably had to make their own, you know,
Yeah, they
everything.
couldn't run to
So,
Michael's. 40%
right,
off.
right. They were out
Leonardo.
actually putting together the canvas themselves. So I think that's kind of where that came about. I just, this is terrible. I had people that were like, what? I threw out 20 pieces recently, but it's work that I did about 5 years ago. It's not some of my best work, and it was kind of stuff that was just, it's like, okay, that was a good experience to get get
Mhm.
my hands on and kind of dabble in, but they've just been sitting there. It's not anything that I would really sell to anybody. So I got rid of 20 canvases recently. Got to make
Wow.
room.
Yeah, I have songs I've written that no one will ever hear.
That you just keep to yourself in a binder, or many binders, I'm sure,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But what's the best compliment you've ever received about your art?
Um, I've been lucky to receive a lot of nice compliments from a lot of people, even when I doubted myself, where I didn't think maybe it was my best work. And, people are like, oh, this is great. I love it. I always love to hear that, especially when I feel like, like, oh, you probably get this a lot being an artist. You see the flaws and somebody else doesn't. And it just,
Yeah,
it kills you because they're there, but you're like, well, if they love it that much, then that's great. um so for me, the best compliment I probably got was I don't know, I get compliments all the time from people. um I've I think the best compliment is when a younger artist comes up to me, which I did a last year. I did the Folsom Live Art Experience the second year round. We're trying to do a third year. I'm waiting on word on that. We'll see. But I had a lot of young artists and I love to bring in young artists. That's my thing, because that's how I got started when I was like 10 years old, entering all these contests and stuff. And so when younger artists come up to me and they say, "How do you do this?" or "How did you get to this point in your art career?" Them coming up and asking me, and me feeling like a mentor to be able to give them advice, makes me feel good.
that's
That's a compliment in itself to me.
Yeah. What do you think is the most appealing thing about your art?
Most appealing thing, uh, I would have to say the fact that for myself, I would say compared to other artists, I'm a little more. There's a lot of artists that are well-rounded that do a lot of different types of artwork.
Mhm.
But I think that's my niche. That's something that kind of stands out with me. Um, I've had people that have come up to me for commission artwork to do things that I've never done. And they've simply come up to me because they said, well, I see you do different types of artwork. Maybe you can handle this. Here's what I'm looking for. Um,
Mhm.
so I think that's the thing that I find appealing about my art is it's well rounded. I don't just stick to one genre. I'm open to testing the waters
Yeah,
and trying different things.
that's good. Well, that brings up something. If somebody wants to commission you for a piece, what's the process? How do they get in touch with you, and what does that whole process look like?
Well, the best thing to do is they can go to my website, Poison Dream Creations. It's poisondreamcreate.com is the actual website. Or if they have my contact information is on there, like my email.
Okay.
My phone number should be on there. They can find me through Facebook too. If they want to
Okay.
contact me through Facebook, that's fine. Um, the first thing that people usually do is they'll hit me up and say, "Hey, I have an idea. Not sure if it's something you'd be into." And my first process is, "Well, what's your idea? Let's talk about it." And then I let them know from there if it's something that I'd be interested in doing or not. And then from there, depending on how big the art piece is and what the process is, whether it's a painting or a sketch, depends on the rate that I charge.
Got
So I'm pretty reasonable though. I like to cater to everyone because I feel like, it's not just one category of people that should own artwork. Everyone should be able to own art. Everyone should be able to see art.
yeah.
So if it's someone that has a certain budget, I always say, "What's your budget range? Let me know, so I can let you know what I can work with." But yeah, I'm always taking commissions. So yeah, let them rip, bring them my way. You know.
My daughter recently commissioned you to do a portrait of my grandchildren, which
Hmm.
super special to me, especially when she brought it to me. I hadn't hugged them in weeks because we were being super, super, super careful with this pandemic.
Right.
And so I hugged that portrait, when she
I
handed it
saw
to
that
me.
picture and I kept a picture. I'm kind of sentimental with like, especially my clients and friends. I will, if I, for historical reasons, I kept a clip of that picture and I said, when I'm old, I'm going to look back on that and appreciate, So yeah, I had a
Well, I
lot of
am
fun doing
old and I did appreciate it.
that.
So that's
Stop it.
yeah, yeah. Great. Is there anything you wish I would have asked you? Anything you want to communicate to us?
Um, Not a whole lot except for I am still waiting to find out word from I'm communicating with Judy. Um, so
Collinsworth at the
yeah,
historic district. Yeah, yeah. We
right.
interviewed her right here.
So I've been communicating with her up until the pandemic. So we're gonna touch. She's had her hands full, I'm sure, with everything.
Oh yeah, she's
Um,
working hard.
Yeah, especially with the businesses on Sutter Street.
Hmm.
I just feel terrible about, that all those businesses that haven't been able to be open. So my main goal for this summer, if I am able to do the Folsom Live Art Experience, the third annual Folsom Live Art Experience, um, if she gives me the okay to do that, and I have artists already lined up, and I'm still accepting artists. So if you know anyone or if anyone's listening, send me an email, and definitely I'd love to have you come out there and show your art. But I think the main goal this year has changed to um, I want people to come out and support art, but I want them to come out and support all the local businesses on that street. I think that's like
It's kind.
it's really important to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
They got hit really hard. So,
Yes, they did.
I mean, you opened and it was like wham, right after. So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's
been
been a
living it.
ride. It's been a
Yeah,
ride, but we feel very loved and supported, and by people all throughout the community, and people like you who are using their art for good things to draw attention to that. So thank you for that.
you're welcome. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for opening Reset Coffee. Now I live even closer now, so you'll see me in there more often than I probably should for my budget, but got to get good coffee somewhere. So,
That's awesome. Well, we love you and thank you for loving us. And thanks for taking time to talk today, Heather.
definitely. Thank you very much, Sean.
Cool. We'll talk to you later.
All right, see you later.